Hi, good evening. My name is Vincent Cerrito. I'm the chair of the Community Board 3 Transportation Committee for Transportation, Safety and Sanitation. Welcome. This is a hybrid meeting, so we do have folks joining us here in the office as well as folks joining us online. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presentations tonight. We do have, I'm just going to switch the agenda up a little bit. Agenda items 5 and 6, I'm going to make push them up above agenda 4. So we'll do district meetings last. And we will start off with a roll call first.
Vincent Cerrito.
Here.
Nancy Khan, absent. Tony Bates.
Here.
Lee Berman. Present. Ariadna Chua. So. Sean Garcia, present. Charlie Goldson, present. Sean Cooper Smith, absent. Elena Perez, absent. David Crane, absent. Kenya Hernandez.
Present.
Okay, so our first agenda is a presentation from New York City DOT on public e-bike charging initiative that they're working on. For folks, again, if you'd like to speak to that agenda item, we do have speaker forms for you to sign in. If you have anyone online who would like to speak to this item, just place your hand up and then we can call you on at the appropriate time after the committee here speaks about it, and then we can listen to your comment. So with that, I think we do have someone from DOT joining us. Patrick?
Yeah, hey everybody, Patrick
Hey,
Smith.
Patrick. Looks like you froze, Patrick.
Oh yeah, okay, how about now?
I think you're good. Will you be sharing your presentation?
Yep, I just sent the request.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, I think I got it. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Are you guys seeing the right version of this?
We are, thank you.
Okay, great. Well, hey everybody, I'm Patrick Smith. I'm with the policy team at the New York City Department of Transportation. Appreciate everybody's time. Today I will be presenting on our public e-bike charging program. It's an initiative that we launched at the end of last year. And since then have been doing a lot of work to identify potential sites around our service area, and we launched a feedback portal a couple of months ago. So today I wanted to kind of walk through the program real quick and then talk through any initial feedback that y'all have on the proposed sites in Community Board 3. And the first thing that I just want to say is, as I think everybody in this room knows, electric micromobility, particularly e-bikes, has become a really important way for New Yorkers and particularly food delivery workers to get around the city. It's something that New York City DOT wants to encourage, and we want to encourage it to be done safely. Micromobility can be a convenient and affordable and even a fun way to get around. But that safety piece is really important. And that takes us to the challenge that we're here to address, which is that over the last 4 years, we've seen a lot of fires associated with the lithium-ion batteries that power particularly cheap and uncertified e-bikes. That they've caused 900 fires and 30 deaths since 2022. We work really closely with the fire department, and it's clear that there are 2 things that are kind of the main cause here. The first is that those uncertified e-bikes and batteries, and unsafe charging practices. So we as DOT a couple of years ago set out to test different approaches to improve safety of charging for e-bikes. In 2023 and 2024, we ran a pilot program that tested a couple of different charging technologies. And out of that, we learned that battery swapping cabinets were a really popular solution, particularly among the over 100 delivery workers who participated in our pilot. they ended the pilot asking for more of this service, and indicating that they were very interested in incorporating it into how they did their work, and would even pay for it as long as it supported delivery work. So that was a really encouraging finding. Yeah. We also learned a lot about how they do their jobs, and a few key things come out of that. The first is that delivery workers need multiple batteries to get through a normal shift. Without battery swapping cabinets, they're usually carrying around a spare battery, which is heavy, and also those two batteries ultimately constrain how far they can get in a day. Once they run out of power on that second battery, they either have to stop and charge, which can take a long time, or they have to end their shift, and that limits how far they can go, what deliveries they can take, and ultimately how much money they can earn on the job. The second thing is that just because some delivery workers are buying unsafe e-bikes and batteries, that doesn't mean they're not concerned about the risk to them and to their family. A lot of delivery workers report living in kind of constant fear of their e-bikes and their batteries. And finally, as landlords are also getting pretty concerned about the risk of e-bikes, they're cracking down, ultimately limiting delivery workers' options for charging inside, and creating a situation where they need other solutions. That takes us to the project we're here to talk about today. Following the pilot in 2023 and 2024, we applied to and got a grant from NYSERDA through their Clean Mobility program to install around 25 of these battery swapping cabinets as kind of a next phase of this program. We learned from companies during the pilot program that a big hurdle to installing these, particularly in the public right of way where they're most useful, is just the upfront capital cost of bringing power to the sidewalk to power the cabinets. So the city and with the nice sort of funding, we're taking on that piece, bringing power from the manhole to the sidewalk, developing infrastructure that the city will own and in the future could use for other things. But we will then, through a contract, invite one or multiple battery swapping cabinet companies to install their cabinets on top and run the service at no cost to the city. This service area that you see on the map is our grant area. It focuses on the areas of the city that you see on this map have the highest concentration of food delivery activity and the highest density of e-bike usage. This map shows data from the food delivery apps collected by the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection in 2021 in a big data transfer that they got from the apps for their driver minimum pay rules, or their delivery worker minimum pay rules. And so it shows sort of the parts of Manhattan in particular, but also Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx that have some of the highest delivery densities in the city. We also have on this map overlaid locations that delivery workers in our pilot program during focus groups in the end asked for more battery swapping cabinets. Those are those little white dots around the map. They asked for them in locations that they were doing deliveries rather than primarily locations where they lived. That's because they need to swap batteries during their shift. And we just want to acknowledge there are a lot of concerns, a lot of frustrations about e-bikes in New York City, more than just fires, right? Like riding behavior and safety is something we hear about constantly. And we just want to acknowledge that one program, one technology is not going to solve all of this. The battery swapping program that we're talking about today is part of a larger suite of approaches that DOT is taking to encouraging safe riding behavior and safe devices and charging in New York City. It complements pretty extensive education and outreach efforts. We also recently launched an online bicycle safety education course that all delivery workers have to take. We are, of course, expanding our bike lane network and widening bike lanes where possible to support cyclists of all different speeds. And ultimately, we can't have this conversation without acknowledging the context that the delivery apps create, the incentive that they create to go as quick as possible on our streets, and the pressure they put on delivery workers to do that. So it is important to work with City Council, as DOT is currently doing, to hold the delivery apps accountable and kind of bring them more into this conversation. Okay, back to battery swapping cabinets. Just to kind of focus in on what they are and how they work. They're ultimately cabinets that are charging a bunch of batteries at once. Users, and it's not just delivery workers, any member of the public can use these. Download an app that shows them where the cabinets are and which have batteries. They get to a cabinet, they scan a QR code, a door opens, they take the battery that they're using and swap it out for a fully charged battery. And right away, and the whole interaction takes about a minute. The things that we're really excited about the battery swapping cabinets, all of the batteries that they charge are UL certified. So the cabinet company is basically running a subscription service. You sign up for it. They give you a safe UL certified battery. They are using batteries that are compatible with Aero 9 and Aero 10 e-bikes, some of the most popular of the delivery worker industry. So they give you a UL certified battery, and it's the same as all the other batteries in circulation. So automatically you're improving battery safety by getting these certified batteries to replace the unsafe ones that folks were using before. The structures themselves are engineered to meet new and pretty robust fire safety standards put out by UL, the International Safety Standards entity. And we've been working really closely with FDNY and the Department of Buildings on making sure that all of the cabinets meet these rigorous standards. And then the cabinets themselves actually proactively monitor battery health. So if somebody plugs in a battery that's been damaged, it's at greater risk of catching fire or having a bad event, that's the battery swapping cabinet vendor is notified by the cabinet stops charging that battery, and they can do something about it rather than just waiting for something to go horribly wrong. And the cabinets can serve a lot of delivery workers. As I mentioned earlier, DOT is kind of using the NYSERDA funding to cover the upfront capital cost, but the battery swapping cabinet company would be responsible for charging a membership fee. We're very interested in keeping this affordable, but there will be an associated fee. That fee will cover the operations and maintenance of the program. So the city won't be funding the program long term. We're just kind of facilitating it. And of course, we know these are on in the public right of way. Folks are going to be very interested in making sure that they're well maintained, and so that will be something we really focus on in the contract terms. So we're gonna talk now about some of the sites and how we got there. There are a lot of things that went into the site selection process that led to the 5 sites that we've kind of put in front of the community board and that are in this presentation. We want them to be in the sort of high density delivery zones because that's where the work is happening. That's where workers need to swap batteries. We're trying to site them near safe bike facilities wherever possible. And of course, there are many things out there that we have to maintain, sufficient clearances from both other street furniture and clearances that are informed by FDNY safety guidelines. And then just some things that we're thinking about here. We've heard a lot of concern that the The cabinets will encourage delivery workers or other cyclists to gather around them. It's something that we're going to pay attention to, but I just want to note it's not really what we saw during the pilot program. Folks would do a quick swap and then either continue on their delivery shift, or if they wanted to take a rest, they would go somewhere else that had shade and seating amenities to rest. They weren't kind of lingering right around the cabinet, which is really important when we're putting these on sidewalks. The agency is guided by our pedestrian mobility plan. Keeping our sidewalks clear and safe for pedestrians and accessible for folks in wheelchairs and other mobility devices is paramount, and continues to be one of our absolute top priorities as we think about where these cabinets could go. We continue to coordinate really closely with FDNY on these, and finally, all of these photos are ultimately from the pilot program, the 2 companies that participated in it. The cabinets that come through this program will be subject to sort of more extensive design guidelines that we'll use to kind of work them into the existing streetscape a little bit better than those of the pilot program. Okay. This is the map of our 50 potential sites. And it's a lot, and there are clusters. And I just want to note, we only need 25 sites. We proposed more than we'd ultimately need to end up with to give options within a certain neighborhood. So of the 5 that are in CB3, we're not trying to install all 5. We're looking probably for about 3 sites that we can continue through to the design phase and ultimately install. This is just kind of an example, not in CB3, of course, but of a prototypical design with some of the clearance considerations. There are a lot of things that we have to maintain minimum distances from, and that had a big impact on where they could go. And then finally, before we talk about the specific sites, just where are we in the process? We launched a public feedback portal in April. And we have the QR code for that. And we are gathering public feedback over the summer. So the goal is we're consulting with a bunch of community boards, bids, electeds, other stakeholders, delivery workers, of course, and then trying to narrow down those 50 sites to the 25 that we can carry through to the design phase by kind of the late summer, the early fall. And we kick into design engineering with the goal of starting kind of a rolling construction by early next year, and ultimately getting these up and running so that we can start to have the benefits as soon as possible, but realistically sometime in 2028. Okay. That takes us to the specific sites. We have 5 here. And again, I think the goal for, on top of answering any questions that you all have about the program or how it will work, really interested in feedback on these sites and any preferences between them or concerns that you have. This shows on 2nd Avenue at sort of 13th Street. This is facing east, of course, because you have the southbound bike lane. And the little yellow triangle is indicating which way the cabinet would face. So the idea is a user could approach in the bike lane and then get out of the bike lane onto the sidewalk using the cabinet that's facing north in this case. We have the option to move one of the bike racks. We could also move the street sign if needed. And the goal that this was a compelling site because it's such a wide sidewalk. And we understand 2nd Avenue is busy. So looking for parts of that avenue that have a lot of existing capacity was a priority. This location on East 14th Street. So we'd be kind of lining the cabinet in line with these couple of tree pits. And similarly, you would access the cabinet from the side. We have gotten some feedback in our feedback portal already about the target staging equipment or staging sort of goods along the storefront, as you can see some of that happening here. So that's definitely something that we need to keep in mind for this space so that we don't narrow the sidewalk too much. This is sort of off of Cooper Square. This was one of our pilot locations. This was our most popular pilot location. Like the cabinet was basically right here. So we think this continues to be a really strong location. It also, you can see just in the right side of this, this photo has an access zone with a bike corral already and some markings and the granite block to kind of sign that off. This photo is out of date. I'm sure many people know the Rite Aid is no longer there. It's been replaced by a different grocery store. But the vision is that the cabinet would be on the curb lane or right at the curb in this big pedestrian space. DOT will be installing a bike corral that's already kind of come before this community board. So those two pieces of furniture kind of work together in that case. And then this is on East First Street facing south. And the vision is we would move the street sign here so that you could access it from the side. So those are the locations. Here's the QR code for the feedback portal. We've already gotten some useful feedback, but always encouraging more people to access it. And also, if folks are amenable to it, if the community board could help get the word out through whatever newsletter or other communications you're sending out, we would of course deeply appreciate that. And I believe that is pretty much all I have for you. So happy to talk through any questions or feedback. And thanks for the time.
Excellent, thank you. I appreciate the really thorough presentation on this. It's really helpful just to kind of understand the thinking and just overall how this is fitting into like the suite of what DOT is doing with delivery bikes and just e-bikes, so I appreciate that. I was actually fortunate enough that the pilot location on Norfolk, just south of Lancet Street was right outside my building, so able to watch that work. Like you said, it kind of was these folks kind of coming out, switching the batteries and kind of getting on their way. And it seemed to work pretty well for a fairly busy sidewalk there. The one question I guess I have, I just have a few comments on just the sites as I reviewed them, and then I'll turn it over to the other committee members here. So for the Cooper Square, like I was actually very curious on that one because it is a gathering space, and just wondering how that actually functioned. Did it actually encourage more like gathering of more bicycles in that location, and that type of thing? And was there graffiti associated with, the box, particularly in this location?
Yeah, no, both good questions. So I will note we did not have cameras on the cabinets, so the sort of like observational stuff was from when we periodically went out to kind of observe over an hour or so how folks were using it during the day. But generally speaking, I think what we saw was folks, like you were saying, kind of using the cabinet and then like either they're on a shift or on an active delivery and they just wanted to get to the next thing that they had, or if they were trying to do kind of a longer break, maybe they would I think at a different part of Cooper Square, it was kind of already a place that delivery workers had identified that they could like stop, and there was a little bit more shade than you can see in this particular area, and so they would go over to that other area. You didn't see a ton of congregation, or we didn't see a ton of congregation at least, but interested in your observations right around the cabinet itself. On the graffiti, overall went pretty well, and when we did have a little bit the cabinet company was pretty quick to go out and deal with it, which was good. Of course, you can see this electrical box right next to it as it's become a pretty well-worn target of at least stickers and other stuff. So, you know, it's something that graffiti, other types of vandalism are definitely something that we need to keep a close eye on with this program.
Yeah, that's what I really do think that for us, they're going, the stickers, those types of things, and just having some minimum response time or something from the actual cabinet, that might guess.
Yeah, totally.
For the Rite Aid site, I don't wanna call Rite Aid, because now it's like a city acre or something like that on First Avenue in History. I think they have a like vegetable fruit stand now along the window front, and so that wide sidewalk. Maybe not as wide as it was when this picture was taken, so I would just suggest we kind of take a look there. Maybe this site could be problematic.
Yeah, no, that's a good flag. And I think this location, even as it was during this photo, you wouldn't want that sidewalk to get much narrower. So if that's the case, then we're probably crossing a threshold where it's too narrow.
And then the last comment just on the site that I had was the first and first. So again, this is next to like an open space, a little bit different than Coop Square, but there's a park space that's got the green, large sidewalk area, no trash cans on that area. So again, I'm just more or less concerned for the possible gathering and like what other infrastructure may be needed here that will change the space from what it is right now to something else. And I don't have a comment if that's good or bad, but I'm just saying that this may change what this intersection looks like if we're creating something.
Yeah, no, heard. And I think in this one, something that we were paying a lot of attention to is kind of the existing pedestrian desire lines and not trying to site a cabinet in a way that would like cause delivery workers to actually block the ways people are walking, whether that's kind of north-south as they cross Houston up to up or down across neighborhoods, or even in this, you know, kind of the space between these couple of tree beds and the fenced planted area. So there's some flexibility too on where exactly along the curb the cabinet would go, and interested in feedback. But yeah, appreciate the comment.
Anybody else in the community have any comments? Sean?
Hey, Patrick, so. I think, you know, the focus on safety here is really important. The one question I had was on, you know, you talked about how you're working with the vendors to try to make sure the subscriptions, and the program stays affordable for the user.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we don't want to place any additional financial burden onto working folks, especially folks that we know are underpaid by these app companies. But more importantly, we want a program that is incentivizing the usage of these storage units. So how are you working with the vendors to ensure affordability and maintain that, you know, down the road?
Yeah, no, that's a really important question. And one that we haven't totally wrapped up because we still have to actually do the solicitation for the vendors. But our approach to it is a couple of things. One, dealing with the upfront capital cost really reduces the cost that the vendors have to put in to make a site viable, right? And the goal is for that saving to be passed on to potential users. The second thing is, I think it's important to keep in mind that, you know, delivery workers in particular are already spending a lot of money on batteries and battery maintenance and charging, right? And the goal is for this to replace costs that they're already spending in order to do these jobs, and protect them from things like theft, that are huge problems when they get their e-bike or battery stolen.
Patrick, you froze on us.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Patrick, you froze?
Yeah. Okay.
Back down.
You're back.
We're back. Okay, great. Sorry about that. So first, doing the capital cost, that should lower the cost that vendors have to that they pass on to users. The second thing is that delivery workers are already spending a lot of money on batteries and battery maintenance. And the goal is to replace basically the money that they're spending on purchasing their own batteries and charging their own batteries with this service. And so kind of finding the right price point that does that without adding a lot of cost, but that really improves the living and working experience of the delivery workers would be kind of the target and would be a big win.
Okay,
That how does the battery charger to detect a faulty battery? Is that something you said it's part of the system, or is that a human identifying?
I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble
Yes.
hearing.
The battery charger, how does the battery charger detect a faulty battery? Is it the battery charger itself that does that? Okay.
Yeah, so the cabinet, and this is one of the good things about having all the same batteries in the system. It's basically a smart charger, and like the interconnect between the charger and the battery is a smart monitored thing. And so that allows the system to kind of run a quick diagnostic on the battery and determine whether it's been damaged or compromised in a way that requires it to be taken out of the system.
Thank you. So first I wanna just mention a few of the locations. As mentioned, the First Street grocery store now has shelving outside for produce. I actually got a complaint from the Block Association about the clearance on the sidewalk, so we should definitely eliminate that one.
Okay, heard. That's really helpful feedback.
Cooper, and Bars Cooper, I don't think there was any problems there with the model, however. You have the Cooper Plaza, and then just north of that, you have the Astor Plaza, you have the north and south Astor Plaza, the south part has a lot of tables and chairs. The north part of that, where there's also room for battery charging, is where the delivery workers actually gather. And I think it'd be much smarter to put the batteries where the delivery workers are. There's room for their bikes there, and there won't be enough soon, but that's where they are. So I want to suggest the northern part of the Astor Plaza instead of the Cooper. I don't really see a problem with the First Street one, it just sort of, it's nowhere, and I'm not sure people would use it. And so now, just so I don't disappoint anyone, I have to get on my soapbox. First, as far as the behavior of people on their bikes. It is not, you can't just talk about the livers. Every morning when I come to work and I cross First Avenue and Second Avenue at Fourth Street, it's people commuting to work. And the behavior is just as bad. It's nobody stops for lights. It's impossible to cross the avenue. So I 100% agree with education, but it should not be aimed at delivery workers. It should be aimed at bike riders. The other thing is we're doing this battery swapping for a very good reason. It's for safety, it's to prevent fires, but it's not for the app workers. And all this is being done without any concern about the app workers. The only concern is, oh my God, they might gather there. It is irresponsible to create these places for battery storage for people to be without any place for the bike storage, without any bathrooms. Which I've been saying for 2 years, but I just want to go on record and saying that again. And possibly we consider for the subscriptions for the batteries, maybe the app companies might want to pay for them.
A lot of good feedback there, and I appreciate all of it. Maybe starting from the back first. We're with you. We would love for the apps to kick in funding for this to address this problem that their services are contributing to at the very least. that's something we need city council's help with. And it's an active point of discussion.
City council should certainly help, but it's also DOT's job to think about infrastructure and creating infrastructure for Amazon hubs. And for all these corporate companies, but not for these individual immigrant delivery workers.
Yeah, a fair point. Absolutely. And on the setting guidance, we'll take another look at Astor to see if there's a space there that works.
All right, thanks, Patrick. And I see we have Daniel, who's joining us online. We're gonna just promote. Daniel, why don't you go ahead?
Thanks. I'm Daniel Tano. I'm
You're muted, Daniel.
I just promoted.
I got made a panelist and it disappeared for
Oh.
a second.
Well, welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. I'm a community board member, not on this committee, but I mean, I think these locations are great, and I think it's great that DOT is addressing this. I would like to go back to that, look at the slide where you said it looked like below Houston Street is like a low density delivery area. Because my concern is that there's not, like, none of these sites, just like City Bike, we have less access down below Houston Street. And I was just like, is it actually that much less density of, I guess it's still a high number. But I would like to see more of these down below Houston Street. I did put in a couple of recommendations when you had the thing open. For instance, like the outside the Essex Street municipal garage. And it will the one, I don't know if it's, I haven't been down there in a while, but will the one by Essex Market still stay there? Also by the Manhattan Bridge is just in our community board, I think. But yeah, if you could address why there's none below Houston Street.
Okay, maybe for the where we're actually proposing them, you're right that it definitely the density decreases below Houston Street. And first I just want to say thanks for using the portal. Thanks for engaging with this. Appreciate the feedback that you're giving, and we're gonna take all of the comments that we get through the portal and through these meetings and kind of try to deal with it in a holistic way. But honestly, the challenges with like Lower Manhattan below Houston Street are just the density of stuff that's already out there, the narrower sidewalks, and these have to have a minimum clearance from actual store entrances for like fire department egress rules. And there are just so many stores on each block that have entrances, and then there are a few other things on the sidewalk, and it really quickly just knocks entire block faces out of just from a very technical clearance based thing. So we did want to have more. My staff like used Google Street View to walk like every street in Manhattan to find viable locations, and it was tougher than you might hope. And that's just kind of what led us to the map that we ended up putting forward.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we hear the same thing with street trees and city bike racks, but yeah, thank you.
And just on Essex Market really quick, we'll take another look. That pilot location was actually kind of flush with the building wall. And kind of the standards for safety have evolved such that like the fire department actually doesn't want these right up against buildings. And that made that exact location tougher to site like at the curb, but we'll take another look around like other parts of the building, see if there's another spot we can squeeze one in.
Okay, anybody else in the committee have any comments? All right, great. Patrick, really thank you again for the presentation tonight, and hopefully the comments were helpful.
Yeah, this was great. Really appreciate everybody's time.
All right, so we are gonna move on here to our next item, taxi and limousine. Commission. Do we have someone from the commission that's, all right, we're gonna be promoting you.
I promoted you, Jacob.
Hi, David, are you joining us?
Yeah, I'm saying. Okay.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
We can. All right.
Perfect. So hello. So again, my name's David Renz. I'm from the Taxi and Limousine Commission. Really just kind of an introductory meeting. I was actually attending a street fair, ran into the district manager, Susan, and I said, hey, why don't ask for the opportunity to come and address the board. So we're just gonna really go over kind of what the TLC does. I'm gonna mention some nice, initiatives that the agency has going. Of course, I think a lot of people know the TLC, where the city agency responsible for licensing and regulating the city's for-hire vehicle sector. So that is the yellow cabs, the green cabs, the local livery car, your local car service companies. It also, of course, includes Uber and Lyft. We consider them high volume for-hire services. So we issue licenses to the drivers and their vehicles, and we make sure the vehicles are regularly inspected. So that's kind of the nutshell of what the TLC does. And the two kind of initiatives I kind of wanted to share with the board was the TLC's Green Rides initiative, which I think people would be interested in. So the TLC, trying to promote a carbon neutral New York City. By 2030, we set the ambitious goal to make Uber and Lyft cars. Again, I mentioned they're called the high volume for hire service bases, have to dispatch trips to battery electric vehicles or wheelchair accessible vehicles by 2030. So we think it's an ambitious goal. Uber and Lyft make up a pretty significant amount of the trips that get completed in New York City now. So in a means to lower emissions, we have set that ambitious benchmark. The other initiative I want, the board to know of is the TLC's commitment to making sure our vehicles are accessible for everyone. Um, we do have mandates about vehicle accessibility, and there is a number I wanted to share with the board, and it is a way for a passenger to have a wheelchair accessible vehicle dispatched to their location. It will be a yellow or green cab, and the passenger will be responsible for the metered rate of the vehicle. Um, that phone number is 646-599-9999. Um, And of course, we also want to mention that if anyone here, any passenger has a bad experience in a cab, kind of go over the reporting method, and that is, of course, through 311. And the big thing we push for is kind of service refusals. That's the thing our agency is really big about. So that, of course, if a cab driver refuses you service because of your race, your creed, your orientation, and of course your destination, we advise to please report that to our agency. And really, if the board has any questions pertaining to the TLC, I'll be happy to address them. And also any questions about what I briefly mentioned.
Thanks. I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate you guys reaching out to the board, to even come to this evening, to kind of just, let us know what you're doing as those initiatives. So just the one thing I guess I have a question on this, Uber and Lyft, so transition to electric, by 2030 is, with the electric vehicles, they need charging and all those types of things. Is there some other connection to where the vehicles would be charged and how that all would work?
So we have worked closely with the Department of Transportation to try to identify, work with them and our driving population to try to identify sites. I know DOT is ambitiously installing a lot more level 2 chargers throughout the city. We've also partnered with, I believe it's also DOT that controls the municipal lots. So drivers do get a discount for some of the municipal lots within the city where they can charge their vehicles quickly. But we do understand that there still needs work to be done on the infrastructure to enable. And that's just for really all New Yorkers. Our charging infrastructure does need some work.
Sure. Okay. I have another question, but I'll just open up to the committee if you guys have any questions.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
EV vehicles, because the batteries are so heavy, they tend to wear on the infrastructure, the roads more, and so has that been planned into like investment into the roads, the repair and whatnot?
Can you say that one more time?
The electric vehicles, the batteries are heavier, so the vehicles tend to wear down the roads more. Has that been incorporated in the planning with this rollout? Or please make note of it and bring it to somebody.
So yeah, I can take that back. I mean, we are aware that the electrical vehicles they're kind of heavier, require more maintenance for our drivers. We
Yes.
we do give them the option, if they want to. And again, I would say that the Green Routes initiatives will only affect Uber and Lyft drivers, so it doesn't really pertain to our yellow cabs and other cars working for a local livery basis.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? So I have one more question, just again, with like, not to delay our Uber and Lyft here, but they have a different operating model, which is newer to the city, works, suburban areas outside cities that didn't have such a like yellow cab hailing kind of culture, which we used to have here. And so, in our neighborhood, we do have a lot of narrow streets, those types of things, and we've been working with DOT on loading and unloading zones and, increasing them in the community board itself in the district. So the streets aren't being blocked when for hire car is dropping off, or that they're just actually idling, waiting for someone to show up, maybe that they're in their apartment still, and they're just trying to get there, but the car's waiting. And I think it takes up to 5 minutes before Uber actually charges them extra money for waiting, so that could be 5 minutes if somebody is idling on a street, those types of things. So I just wonder, like, is TLC like taking a look at there? Are you working with DOT saying that, in these neighborhoods, like we have in this village where there's lots of pickups and drop offs through Uber, that type of looking at idling of vehicles and then also just loading and unloading zones, hotspots kind of deal. Like, do you have like data that you can provide, like give that to
So
DOT and DOT can kind of bring that to us and we can kind of see where we may need some more loading and unloading zones to allow it to occur?
So yeah, we do of course keep trip records. We get trip records on all kind of trips carried out by the vehicles we license. With regards to idling, one thing we have implemented, we call it utilization rates. So we do have rules for Uber and Lyft, for the amount of time they can be, say, driving around without a passenger. So we do kind of have rules like that in place. When it does come to kind of the cars idling, we do understand it can kind of cause congestion, and we do try to look at the data, but we are mainly focused on, just making sure the vehicles are safe and reliable for our passengers to be transported in, and kind of lean on DOT to make any traffic adjustments as they see fit. But
Gotcha.
we do have a working relationship for a multitude of things.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and we have Kate who's for that for DOT here, and she's heard us talk about loading and unloading and all those types of zones here, and for us trying to figure out, where do we put them, where do we where's most appropriate for them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Anyone else have any questions? All right.
And I guess the last thing I will say is look for the yellow cabs. We have the World Cup coming up, and we are equipping the yellow taxis with World Cup decals. So be on the lookout for that in the city. You might notice some of the yellow cabs, but you're in them will have these new World Cup decals.
Excellent, awesome.
All right.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for everyone's time.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna move on to our next item. I'm gonna jump to item number 5 here, and I think we have a representative from the Spring Tour International LLC in the room. Do we have anyone from Spring Tour?
Maybe he's online. Yes, he's online.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Shang. We're gonna promote you to a panelist. Just give us 1 minute.
Okay.
You can go.
Hi. Hello? Yes,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Hi, yeah, so I mean, this is my first time joining this kind of meeting, so please tell me where to start.
Sure, yeah, really what we're looking here is, so you are looking at, DOT has reviewed your application, for a bus stop. Excuse me, I'm looking, here at, 32 Allen Street, which is, the east side of Allen Street between Canal and Hester Street. They're granting you a provisional 6-month permit. And so what we're looking at here, the community board, we're looking at, do we, have any, concerns with that? And we're also gonna be providing a resolution to DOT, which will have some stipulations, attached to it. And so we'll go through that here, and, we'll keep you online so you can comment on any of the stipulations as we go through them. But if you could just go over, what operation is going to look like. And how many people, how large your bus is, how many people you're expecting, and then also where your ticket status will be.
Okay, so as of right now, we are operating a 56 to 61 pax coach buses. So every day we have a different number of passengers, so that is unpredictable, but at least I would say at least half of seats will be occupied for every day. And then our bus route will be mainly going to Ohio. So we send out one bus in the morning time, about 8 to 9 p.m. We send out one bus out. And then the next morning, there will be another bus coming back to drop off the client about 8 to 9 a.m. So those will be depends on the traffic. Yeah, so basically that's all we do every day. Yes.
Is that 7 days a week?
Yeah, 7 days.
And just for a question, how do you plan on accessing Allen Street? Like, how the bus route will come in through the city streets here? You're coming in from Ohio, so presumably you're coming through.
Mostly we'll take just Holland Tunnel and then all the way to the Allen Street. I mean, our storefront office is actually at 59 Canal Street. So our first priority location for the bus stop will be in front of 59 Canal Street. But 32 Allen Street is the only option that DOT left for us, so that we don't have any choice except the 32 Allen Street.
If you could kind of clarify that, so and I guess my question is are you coming in through like the Lincoln Tunnel, the George Washington Bridge?
We'll be mostly will be coming through the Holland Tunnel.
The Holland Tunnel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or sometimes Staten Island, but that would depend on the actual traffic conditions.
Understand that.
Yeah.
And then if you could repeat that, I'm kind of confused that you want to drop off at 59 Canal Street. So, when we're looking at this, is that we're just looking at buses at 32 Allen Street.
Yeah, because 59 Canal Street is our ticket office located. So yeah, I did apply for the 59 Canal as a priority bus stop. However, the DOT, they don't give us the option for that one. They said they told me that the 32 Allen Street is the only option we have.
Okay, and that is actually what your application is, and that's what so DOT is looking at a provisional 6-month permit to do that. So I'm just gonna we'll get here to the our resolution on this, but I just want to make sure that you understand that this application is for 32 Allen Street to pick up.
Yes.
Off, and then your ticket locations can be sold obviously at 59 Canal Street.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, understood. Does anybody else on the committee have any questions before we take a look at the resolution that we're doing? All right, and so I'm gonna ask Sean if you could bring up the resolution onto the screen.
There any speakers?
All right. Oh, Felix. Yeah. Are you for this one? Sorry, Felix.
So,
Yeah.
so I don't quite comprehend why 32 Allen Street is even being considered, because there's already a Flixbus right on 28 Allen Street. And then there's two additional bus stations that are, one on like East Broadway and another one on Canal Street. So there's gonna be a ridiculous amount of congestion in this area. 28 Allen Street is already pretty much at 32 Allen Street. The buses are extremely long, so they're gonna be blocking the way. And there's a lot of residents and small businesses at that location. And additionally, there's also schools nearby, so these buses coming in every day, literally every day, multiple times a day, are a serious concern for safety issues. And there's also a city bike station located nearby. And it's gonna negatively impact all the residents and small businesses at Allen Street. And another big concern is also bathrooms. There's no public bathrooms in the area. So when people get off at 32 Allen Street, where are people? Where are the passengers gonna? There's no bathrooms, so they're just gonna. I think it would be better if they could do the Canal Street location. It doesn't really make any sense for it to be located there, because it's literally a bus station at the exact same location. Right?
All right, thank you, Felix. Yes. And Felix, Felix, you need to actually talk a little bit about what you're handing me here. Sorry.
Okay, this is basically a lot of residents and small businesses signs. They signed something just basically stating that they're against these bus stations, this bus stop, not bus station, being put at 28 Allen Street. And it's a big problem because it's not even a bus station, it's a bus stop. There's no like bathroom or anything.
There's quite a few letters.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people live there and there's a lot of businesses there. They don't want.
Is this two copies of it, of these the same letters?
No.
These are all different names.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it, Felix. Thanks for coming out tonight. Kate, are you prepared to talk a little bit about the bus? So I know we do, actually, the next one that we're looking at is at Canal Street. I don't know if it's the exact same address.
It's for the photos on the.
Yeah. So for this application, Allen Street was selected, over Canal Street because of the possibility of a project on Canal Street, which we previously presented to you all about. So in the interest of, future presentations and planning and to avoid potential relocation, down the line, we selected Allen Street. So when the bus companies apply to DOT for a bus stop, they will send us multiple stops that they are interested in. And we will go through all of them to see which one we think is, the preferred location. Initially, we thought that the 59 Canal, would work, but then given the, potential for a project there and wanting to avoid relocating it at a later date, we would opt for Allen, but we're here tonight and send the notification to the board for the feedback. So depending on what is said today, we'll certainly bring back and see if there are other options.
I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you. Go ahead, man. Oh, yes, sir.
To this gentleman.
Please pop through.
It's really to the gentleman of this campus, because based on the plan of the bus stop, the hours of operation, are have to And I don't know if
They
the,
said, nine, starting at nine, that's like.
I'm looking at what we have, so it's, there's a
Yeah, what we have here, Felix, is and what our the bus operators presenting, and it would be one bus a day dropping off, one bus a day in the evenings leaving the city. And our stipulations that we do with community board three is that the buses are allowed.
What exactly are the times? Cause I've heard them say 9 AM.
Yeah, actually, let's bring up the resolution. Times and that.
Because nine AM, I think would be the busiest time for the bus stop, there are a lot of bus coming at that time.
yeah.
So, you know.
Okay, so what we're at, I just wanna make sure that we're all talking about the same thing, there's a committee here and also you folks who came out tonight, well, everybody who signed this. So what we're showing is that one daily pickup at approximately 8:30 p.m. The one daily pickup at 8:30 p.m. in the evening, and then one daily drop off at approximately 7:30 a.m. So that is what the application was. And so it's one bus in the morning. And then one bus in the evening. The stipulations that community board three that we put on these is that the buses are not allowed to stay in that location, so they have to drop off and immediately go. DOT is looking at giving them a provisional application. So this would be like, so if we allow this to occur, I'm just saying X, I don't know where this meeting will go. You would have that time to actually give feedback to DOT, free will calls, all these types of things if they're not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you would act as I think DOT would soon take that information and at the time, look at this application, because it would only be for a 6-month trial. That's what DOT is saying is operationally feasible. So I just want to make sure that, and I'm saying this to you not to say this is what we're voting for, just as what the application is. So I just want to make sure everyone in the public understands that and everyone on the committee just understands what we're looking at.
Okay, so, here's the thing. Why are we discussing potential progress? When we already know there's an existing problem, because there's already an existing bus station at the exact same location. So it's kind of jumping the gun here. There's already there's a bus station at 28 Allen Street. And the argument is Canal Street is not suitable because there might be an upcoming project. But there's already an existing conflict. You're talking about a potential conflict versus an existing conflict. Shouldn't the existing thing be prioritized over something that's just potentially a thing, right? And the second thing is the fact that 7:30 AM doesn't necessarily make it better because there's nothing open at 7:30 AM. Where are people gonna use the bathroom? Like, if they really need to go to use the bathroom, what are they gonna do? It's gonna be a big problem.
And so I just want to ask, is the applicant still on the line?
Yeah, we do have a bathroom for our passengers in the ticket office. Yes.
So your ticket office is not actually at the stop. The buses that you're using, you said you use a variety of buses. Do all variety of buses have a bathroom for?
Yes, we also have a bathroom on board on the bus.
And would that be open for use for passengers?
It will be open after passenger on board.
And another thing, the time when the buses are coming, a lot of people are going to school during that time. So it's not, it creates safety concern.
For the morning time, drop off will be much faster than departure because after the bus arrive, the passenger they would just get off the board and then pick up their luggage and then just leave. And then after everyone's left, our bus will be left immediately because we don't want to stay there and idling. This is no good for us. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's just the overall thing, it just makes a lot more sense for it to actually be located where the station is at Canal Street than a random spot where it just doesn't make sense.
And sorry, just 1 second here. And Kate, what was the location on Canal Street?
It's 59 now.
59, thank you. I just want to. And do you have that information on 59 Canal Street? I understand that that's. So we're looking at 59 Canal Street, that's between Orchard and Allen Street. And is there there's a current bus, intercity bus stop there, which I believe there is, right?
I have to double check.
Yeah, so it's around the corner.
Yeah, this is the lucky like the family is over.
And then, as
Do you
far
have
as understanding, and
Sorry, we'll just do one person at a time, thank you. You have the microphone, so I'll let you go first.
okay,
And I'm just gonna, sorry, before you go, I'm gonna just need your names too.
oh, okay.
Please go, please go. Yeah, you should speak now. We'll
Oh,
get your name out
okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah, this is get your name out there.
Because as my knowledge that, I think the Green Horn bus also used the 32 Allen Street as a job of stop. So actually it's more, I think, 28 Allen Street has 4 companies. So I don't know how many buses they are one that address. That's crazy.
Well, and I have to just say, before, like, I'm kind of curious too, because I'm looking at, so Canal Street, and let's all think about Canal Street here as well. Canal Street has parking lane, which is the no standing for buses. You have a major east-west bike lane that's shallow in this area. Because it's not wide enough to actually have an offset bike lane. Allen Street has a bus lane on it, a red bus lane for city buses. And as a parking lane, it's a much wider street. I mean, to be honest, putting traffic, more buses on Canal Street would be more dangerous. My own personal opinion here, of looking at this, where from a safety standpoint, if Allen Street makes more sense for these. I do agree that we have a lot of intercity buses in the neighborhood. This is something that is a concern, so I just want to think that out for everyone here.
And the other thing is, Allen Street, there's a bus lane. So there's Foster Street, there's a bicycle station, and there's bicycle lane. So only one lane that is able to drive, only one lane. So you have to remember that only one lane.
Right, but the buses would be in the parking lane, that's to the right.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
a
bus.
lot of time they're double park.
Well, Allen Street's a 3-lane street. It's a very wide avenue going up there, the parking lane where the bus lane is, a bus lane, and then a driving lane.
And then,
And then a bike lane that's in the median.
yeah, and then when the bus arrive, there's a lot of cab and Uber. That stay there to pick up the customer.
I understand that, and the reason why I wanted to, because I think you were asking for us to look at Canal Street, moving it to Canal Street, is that correct?
I'm not concerned about where you're moving, but we just concerned about our neighborhood.
I understand.
That's, very suitable for them. Overloaded. But
I understand, okay, thank you.
I just really wanted to point out, based on the application that this particular company is presenting, that it is, within hours that most of Chinatown isn't even operating. So their pickup hours, I think they said was at 8:30 in the evening, so, it's pretty calm and quiet at that time. And then the prospective drop off is 7:30 in the morning. Not, I mean, also, which I think we factored in, additional time if, there's delays. I don't know if that's what he meant in terms of 9 AM. I think that it doesn't really, infringe on the mobility within that area. Not at the time that they are specifically designated. I understand the issue for the other bus companies, but then maybe those concerns should be raised with those particular companies. But this one, they're only focusing in on one trip, and that's directly to Ohio, and then they're coming back. I don't know how that plays into the other companies and whether or not they are transporting individuals from New York to Ohio, but then maybe that's something else that needs to be considered.
Yeah, and I'll just say, so DOT is, given would be issuing this permit for use, they look at the application, what they're requesting, and then what is located at that bus stop, and then, they more or less said it's feasible. But what is unique about it is that it is a 6-month provisional approval. Which again allows us to see how it operates, allows a lot of feedback from the community, which you should definitely share. Once we get to this,
Would it come back, in 6 months?
the question for Kate.
We could do that, she,
Oh,
yeah,
She should, yeah, you should.
Yeah, okay.
You just grab.
Thanks. Yeah, we could come back, at that point, just depending on what feedback you're getting from the community. I think there have been other instances in CB3 where maybe it was a different district actually, where you were having issues with the bus operator and we monitored them to see if they were leaving and it ends up working out, but yeah, we're willing to come back and keep talking about it.
Great, thanks. If you want.
Yeah, oh, hold on.
I just want to remind if anyone is joining us online, this is a hybrid meeting, so you can just put your hand up and we can promote you if you'd like to speak. This is agenda item. Anybody on the committee have any questions on this? Okay, thanks. Yes. Hi.
So like, I don't support the Allen bus station because the 28 Allen Street is not a bus stop, it's a bus station, which means it's huge, like it's like a size potentially can be from like 32 to 28. So people not just like bring in, they have all the luggage and everything. And then the bus will park there probably 30 minutes or like before they depart, and then they go into different state, not just only one state, that go into different states. As you guys say like Chinatown, a lot of stores not open, but then we Chinatown resident, which want to protect our communities. It's not just only business, but also the residents. And the school and kids and elderly and yeah, everybody and old people. And we have pharmacy next block to us, and it's actually then people from everywhere just, it's nice to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank
It's an interesting topic for us that we actually, since I've been on the board, we haven't had one of these really come forward. There was a point in time that they were coming forward really a lot. And I wonder so I always look at Kate and request, maybe it would be good for us as a community, maybe just to kind of get an update. I'll let you go, Susan, in a minute. An update from GFC, just how many of these are actually operational? Because I know we have like permits that we issue, and then like it's a business, so they probably go in and out of business, maybe they're not operating like they should. It'd almost be really interesting to get an update for Community Board 3 of just purely what is our operating bus stops, where they're located, and that type of thing.
We're able to tell how many actual trips or buses are coming and going.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it is very anecdotal. I said there's a lot of these intercity buses, and I know that, but I. Susan.
If I could just give a little context. Yeah, I just want to give a little context of this. This community board actually changed the face of Chinatown buses.
Susan, just hold up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just ask for that mic back because you're actually on right now. All right. Yeah, thank you.
So 20 years ago, it was the Wild West with buses. They were all over. There were no stops. There were no regulations, and it was really dangerous and created problems in many ways. And it took the board probably close to 10 years, maybe between 5 and 10 years, where we worked with the city, we worked with the state. We got our state representatives to have Albany pass a law that allowed the city to create regulations. It was, one of these home rule things. We had to get permission. Margaret was the council member then. And DOT came up with this plan with the bus stops that have to come before the community board. And so I'm gonna say, having designated bus stops just really made it so much better and so much orderly. Doesn't mean they're all good or they're all bad, but it just improved it tremendously. The stipulations we created, the city goes back and forth about how much they listen to us. And when the plan was first created, they would not really deny a bus stop unless it was, I remember, like right in front of somebody's ground floor window or something like that. But that's why we created the stipulations. Because one of the things that we usually ask for is that there be a bathroom nearby that's available. That was a big part of the stipulations, and, the ultra low sulfur fuel, that sort of thing. So I just wanted to put it in context why why they even come to us. It is certainly a lot better. People, for good reason, often are unhappy to have bus stops in front of their buildings, but again, the businesses, the bids tell us that they help local businesses, so there's a back and forth and two sides to it. But the reason they're even here is because this board worked to have these regulations and have them come to us.
Well, we do appreciate those folks that came before us.
David kind of did a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else in the community? Okay, we're gonna bring that back here. Sean, are you able to share that resolution?
Just
I really appreciate you all coming out here tonight. It is really helpful for us to hear, what you're seeing on the street and just, so I appreciate you. So what we're doing right now is that we're gonna be working on this resolution, which we put together, here at the committee, and then at the full board, will be looked at as well. And this will get forwarded to DOT. So community board 3 does not issue the permit, we just providing the feedback. So, with that, I'm gonna just read, and I think the committee member, you've all seen this, I forwarded it down here just so you'd be all, sorry. So I'm just gonna read it, Community Board 3 resolution to approve a provisional 6-month intercity bus stop permit for Spring Tour International. Whereas Spring Tour International LLC has applied for a designated bus stop for curbside loading and unloading operations located at 32 Allen Street on the east side of Allen Street between Canal Street and Hester Street. The buses will be providing service between New York and Cincinnati, Ohio, with one daily pickup at approximately 8:30 p.m. and one daily drop off at approximately 7:30 a.m. And whereas the proposed location is an existing designated intercity bus stop currently operated by Eastern Coach, and New York City DOT has determined that there is sufficient space to accommodate an additional operator at this location. And whereas the surrounding area already experiences heavy intercity bus activity, pedestrian congestion, and vehicular traffic associated with nearby Chinatown and the Lower East Side transportation corridors. And whereas Community Board 3 has concerns about sidewalk congestion, noise, idling, sanitation, and pedestrian safety impacts associated with intercity bus operations at this location. And whereas the applicant has entered into an agreement with CB3 to adhere to the following stipulations. Tickets shall be sold online or at an off-site location and not on the sidewalk. Tickets shall be sold only for specific boarding times and shall not be oversold. A staff person shall be present during all arrivals and departures to manage boarding, crowd control, and passenger inquiries. Passengers waiting to board shall form orderly, single file lines that do not obstruct the public sidewalk. The operator shall maintain cleanliness around the bus stop and remove all litter associated with bus operations. Buses shall adhere to scheduled arrival and departure times to the greatest extent possible. Buses shall not idle for extended periods and shall comply with all applicable NYC idling regulations. The number of daily pickups and drop-offs shall not exceed the amounts approved by New York City DOT without further review by Community Board 3. Therefore, be resolved that CB3 Manhattan recommends that NYC DOT approve a provisional 6-month permit for Spring Tour International LLC to operate an existing designated intercity bus stop at 32 Allen Street, providing that the above stipulations will be attached to and enforced as part of the permit approval. So obviously that takes into account that we are okay pushing this forward, and so does anyone feel strongly that we should not be supporting this provisional applicant? Okay, does anybody have any proposed changes to the resolution as it's written?
Could we add a line that says, staff person should direct people to passengers to the ticket office or bus for bathroom usage?
Yeah, let's see, yeah, that was brought up here, so.
And should we include a whereas, it says whereas the community has brought in.
So with this, interestingly, this specific case, I know that this is our stipulations here that we're providing and getting the operator. These are stipulations these are kind of from the last time we did this around. Would you be amenable to us popping this in a bullet form here, or should we do it therefore DOT consider this additional stipulation? Just wondering from that aspect.
I don't think we have a preference on how you word it, the latter makes sense to me though. We need, the applicant, we need to fill out the stipulations, send it to him, and he has to agree to sign them.
And he has to agree to sign them, yeah. So do you think it's better to, like, Susan, do you think it's better to put it?
I would put it up stipulation and
In a split.
they should mirror each other.
Okay. All right, so let's,
How do they keep, how do they check in to make sure that they're following these stipulations? How often?
What is that?
how often does DOT check in at the bus? Right, like the bus is actually abiding by the stipulations, and I
I
think.
assume it's probably complaint driven like any.
Yeah, so it is complaint driven and depending on the location, we are sometimes able to monitor them with cameras to see what's going on. So as they hit state, if
You're not speaking into my.
So we're gonna move forward with the pilot and only way to track is if for them to make a complaint to DOT or 311.
Either is applicable or to community board.
So you guys understand if you feel like the applicant isn't following the rules or all the concerns that you came here today are showing, we have to call the complaint so that the record shows, right?
Yeah, and
I would suggest that you let community board 3 know and say, well, you're coming back.
Yeah, just,
photos are 1,000 bucks for photos.
yeah,
Big
photos.
And should we add then the provision that's in?
I like that. I think that's a really good idea. So, and it is a provision for, that the operator will direct. So probably, let's just see where it's actually shall maintain, say that they should.
We can write out for staff person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back control, answering inquiries and direction to facilities at
Restroom facilities.
restroom facilities.
And then maybe something like, where is the community, sorry, where is the community has come in to, kind of stand against this, we can add something that we requested DOT to come back.
Yes, so DOT will have to come back as we say, stipulations will be attached and enforced, what do you say, number of candidates becomes further reviewed by community board 3, so after the 6-month provisional, they have to extend. Yeah, so that's not. Okay, any other thing? This time.
Just have concerns in terms of, the existing bus companies. Because a lot of what's expressed is referencing the entire campus services. It's, though it's being projected at this applicant, which I think is, but I think that, it should be, more of an assessment of the overall experience to see what bus companies are creating these problematic situations within the community. And once they're identified, then those particular companies can be addressed in terms of the violations that the local community has experienced.
That's it, great suggestion, and so I'm gonna put this back on you folks for coming out, I mean, obviously you are committed to the community you live in, and you came out here tonight. And Tanya's right, that like, it is all the operators operating at that bus stop and it's out there. Sure, I just need you to take your microphone and hear you out loud.
I'm wondering how many bus stations have permission to actually go on house. That's what we're saying.
So that's what
Or is it just like doing it?
So, So what we get from DOT is that they looked at the operations, so DOT, that's their job, look at the operations of what hours and bus pickups and drop offs, and what they've seen is that this stop. Is one that would allow them to operate efficiently, and so has enough room, has enough drop off and pickup times. So what I wanted to say to you folks is that like, so it's not just this operator that'll be there, there's other operators using that bus stop. Community Board 3 here is for you. So use us, come here, take pictures, use 311. There's all these different avenues that you can come to put in the complaints. So 311 is your best. Put 311 complaints with photos of any issues that you're seeing. If you're seeing public urination or something that is associated with the bus, don't take pictures of that, but you know, but you should like just document it and send it in. And as 311 gets complaints, creates a hotspot, it gets services. So use 311.
But the problem is like, you guys keep adding more and more bus. Like, when does it end?
So this isn't an additional bus stop, so we're not
So,
adding any
yeah.
additional, it's an existing bus stop that has operational capacity, which means that there's a stop that we have curb space that is available for a bus to drop off and pick up passengers already on the street. And won't create any additional congestion or create any more curb space needed for the city buses. That's really what DOT is kind of saying. This makes some sense to put here, it's already here. It has capacity for another bus to operate, one drop off, one pickup. And they've only given it a 6-month provisional. So for them to like get some feedbacks from the community, how it's working, and then we can take it back on this committee and take a look and how did that 6 months go? Were there complaints? Are we gonna extend it? Is the bus company still in business after 6 months? There's all that, all these things that we'll take a look at.
Can I add something?
Oh, I was just gonna ask if you can add to the therefore being resolved if the DOT can come back with an idea of the bus system, what?
Sure, we can definitely put that in. I don't know if I need to put that in a resolution. I think that's just a request to Kate, and we'll just make it happen because we got to be related to this. Yeah, it's kind of the whole system.
Can I add on the complaint?
Yes.
I just want to add on the complaints. If you see problems, don't wait for 6 months and come here and say there's a problem. Let us know, because the office talks to DOT every week. And so if you give us a complaint, they will go out, they will investigate, they will come back and say, we gave them a summons. So it's all documented. So by the time they come back in 6 months, everything's documented. It's not someone saying, I saw something, and the bus driver saying, or the bus company saying no. So you need to let us know. We work really closely with each other, so, it'll be followed up.
Okay,
Okay.
so as I search online, right? Over here, we have 4 companies. Panda, NY Bus, Greyhound, Trailway, and FedEx Bus. One location, 4 companies. I don't know how many buses.
And so I'll just state it again, is that, so DOT has those permits, has one of those buses they're picking up and dropping off, and so they're saying that this has capacity for the times that this bus company's coming in. And I going to what Susan is saying, during this 6-month period, if you're seeing congestion, you're seeing 4 buses there at one time and they're not being able to fit, they're coming at the same time, there's people lined up, 200 people blocking the sidewalks because there's 3 buses there waiting for pickups at the same time. Those are the feedback that DOT needs, we will need as well in this 6 months. And like Susan said, don't wait for 6 months to provide that. Do it like next month, 2 months from now, like do it. If this company doesn't even start operating, I mean, it doesn't mean that they're gonna actually operate. If you're seeing issues outside your front door with the way this bus stop is operating, get pictures, do feedback of how it's not operating correctly, and then DOT can actually take action.
I have a question. First that, where we can find out who has permit on 20 Allen Street?
So we can, so I would put in a request to CD3 and we can get that one.
It's actually online, isn't it? I'm sure it's all on DOT.
Yeah, I believe, it's
already online, but it's not, and like something that we'll share with the community board so that. We shared with you all as well.
Okay. And anybody can find out how many buses a day they allow to operate.
You go to nyc.gov DOT
Uh-huh.
and search for bus stops.
Uh,
I've seen it in the past, they should all be there. If you have any problems, let us know, but that's all public information.
okay, that's good.
Okay, is there generally a limit to how many companies could be in that one state, even though, you know, because it allows it, is there a limit at one point to how many?
I would have to check if there's an official limit. We do look at how many buses and their schedule when they into permits. It sounds like based on like this evening that there are concerns with those buses that are already operating there. So I can share that with our permit office. And see if we can kind of more closely monitor their activities. It sounds like they're staying longer than they should be. And we go from there, but I would have to check if there's a limit to the exact.
Thank you. If I could also just mention, it also serves, these buses serve people going from one Chinatown to another, and, you know, workers that go back and forth, so. There's various reasons for them. You don't, so it's striking a balance where you can serve people, but not oversaturate an area.
I'm gonna move us along here. I'm gonna take your microphone out. But, you know, so, I'm just gonna do a show of hands, if we could just go down, we'll, start with. Elena?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, yeah, if we're yes on this, sorry. Yes. Yes, yes,
Yes.
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 okay. So yes, so don't take this wrong. I really appreciate you coming out here because it's good for me to hear this firsthand of what's happening. And also, I think you've got good information of how to act over the next 6 months. Use the community board, use 301, get pictures, document, not just this, the existing operators there as well. Okay,
We'll also.
and we'll get information after 6 months, if they're still operating and if they're gonna extend it. So just so you all know, this goes to our community board meeting, the full board meeting at the end of the month, where the full board would then vote on it. So, you don't know, that's next step, and then we'll get.
So how are you gonna handle the stipulations? Are you going to,
We just amended the stipulation, so we do wanna get that signed.
so you're gonna fill it out and email it back to us and we'll send it to him?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could just, for the applicant to know, we will be sending you the stipulations for you to sign and then send back to us. And that will, like, to turn around in a few days, so before we, vote at the full board, we have to sign stipulations.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, thank you for joining us. We're gonna move on here. We're gonna go to Fortune Coach, which I think is in the room. Hi, how are you? How are you? Just need you to take a microphone. Oh, Susan, thank you.
But I didn't sign to speak today.
No, you don't have to, you're the applicant.
No.
Yeah, so. Yeah, thank everyone for your time, so this is my first time here. And we are apply a bus stop in front of 9 Charlton Square. There's a west side of Charlton Square between Doyle Street and Mall Street. And for here, we are running from service the transportation from Chinatown to the city daily. And basically this service is running for more than 20 years already. And then we are recently just take over the original company. They are running this time. And then right now the schedule we have here is every day 10:15 one bus is pick up, and then 12:30 one bus pick up from Providence Square to Atlantic City, and then
What city is it?
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Casino bus.
Yes. And every night the comeback is 7:45 one buses and another one is 9:45. Yeah, that's a daily routine for the buses. The two buses running.
And so, would you clarify, so I didn't follow you in the beginning, so you're operating there all currently, or you're operating somewhere else currently? Did I mishear you?
Oh, there's original buses running currently right now. This original.
I'm sorry, with the crosstalk, like it's.
So we have.
No,
to
no,
go.
no, I'm not asking you to speak, I'm just asking you to.
Yeah, we have to go, we go.
Okay.
Dinner.
Oh, yeah, you can leave, please, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, yeah, go leave.
Okay, thank you.
This is the team for you.
Okay, so we have to do like pictures of basically.
We're not discussing.
Yeah, you can also put it in. But yes, this will do the same thing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem, thank you for coming out.
Oh, but guys, you have to leave the talking forms.
Okay.
You have to leave the forms. You can take a blank copy.
Yeah.
Oh, let me take a picture of that one here. And see if I can see it.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, you just need to go.
Here, I'll give you this, here.
Sorry about that.
Alright, sorry. Anyway, so, just repeat my question. Your operations currently, is this a current running application? Like you already have not bus operation doing this?
Yeah, we just doing the already running the budget, but it's under the original company name. So we are right now applying for the new company name for this money.
I understand. Okay, so it's an existing company that's been running it. It's a new company with a new name, so you're reapplying with DOT as a new company.
Yes, but it's original stuff, original bus stuff.
Is it the same owner, are they buying the company?
Sorry, what's the old company's name?
It's called, I think it's called Victoria Pool. Victoria Pool, yeah.
And you're buying it from them?
Yeah.
So they're buying the old company?
Got it.
And then saying the schedule the same.
Yes. And the same.
And it's the same exact schedule?
Schedule every day. Yeah.
Same location, same route.
location, everything is the same.
I apologize, I wasn't aware that it was a previous, company that was using this spot. So. I think because it's a new company that's operating.
Yeah, because we are applied as a new company. So
To be honest, I'd rather you go that route because I don't like this location. And so it's so congested. It just seems crazy for an entrance in bus stop.
What's the location?
Sorry, it's, 32 out.
Yeah.
Just this is the job, sorry. it's-
Nine Chatham.
Oh, 9 times.
So it's literally, it's right actually where, the whole Chatham Square redesign project,
Yes,
it's gonna be changed, I mean, everyone's. All we're hearing back there is congestion, I just thought it's, is there a way for them not to come through us? I'm just saying that since it's a new operator, to Susan's point, do we need to go through the process?
They'll need to sign the stipulations.
Yeah,
I will have to double check, I think those records will just need to have like
Find the wrong
community
file.
boards,
okay,
feedback on it. And if it's been already operating and we don't have an issue with it, that's.
yeah, it doesn't sound like it, it's just like, are you aware that the city is looking at a redesign of this intersection?
Not gonna do so.
I mean, if you're buying a business, you should
Yeah.
know.
Redesign coming to that one space.
Yeah, and just to add that construction would be years away, unlike
Right,
Canal
that's very true.
Street,
Yeah,
which we would be hoping to do in the next year or less than that.
that's,
Depending on the next time we're able to come to the community board to get feedback, on the school.
very true. Okay, all right, so with that being said, maybe I'll take back my harsh statement. So this is runs, and I'll ask Sean if we can bring it up on the screen.
This was being told that sometimes about ownership.
It's a transfer of ownership, but we wanted, was it new ownership, we want them to sign it. So we do stipulations for the buses, like SOA does. So we'll get the owners to sign to these stipulations. So what we'll want to do, and thanks for clarifying that. Do the resolution, so we can get that, since the new company to sign the stipulations that we should company inside. So it does make sense for us actually to do this.
Looks like there's a couple of companies that Chatham Square's had it.
Yeah, 9 times.
Looks like, so I found one here, it's not the same one though.
Just because you find them doesn't mean that they're still operating. So,
It's a different company.
In the letter, we do mention that there is another company, A&W, that.
Yeah, that's this one. Let me find and see if I can get the one.
Yeah, so there's, oh, I see your, but actually, Google Maps, our bus, Caesar Casino, 10:30 and 12:30 scheduled.
Oh, yeah,
So-
it's our schedule.
Yeah. Okay, so it is, so they're operating, okay, so I'll read this out. Committee Board 3 resolution to approve an intercity bus stop permit for Fortune Coach Inc. at 9 Chatham Square. Whereas Fortune Coach Inc. has applied for a designated bus stop for curbside loading and unloading operations on the west side of Chatham Square between Laurier Street and Mott Street. In front of 9 Chatham Square. The buses will be providing service between New York and Atlantic City, New Jersey, with 2 daily pickups at approximately 10:15 a.m., 12:30 p.m. 2 daily drop-offs at approximately 7:45 p.m., 9:45 p.m. I don't think, do we need to actually change that to a Fortune company? Taking ownership of an existing,
This was 11 arrivals a day, 11 departures a day.
wow,
So these are the stipulations. I should notice that, note that casino buses are not like inner city buses, in that there isn't the same benefit to the community.
yeah, it's very different.
So with those yield steps.
No.
So it's 11 and now we're going to 3.
Yes, so they had 11 days of arrivals, departures, now going to 2. Okay, I kind of want to just say, because we say the proposed location of the existing designated intercity bus stop currently operated by A&W Tours.
I have A&W.
Already taken over. So is A&W the one?
No, this is A&W.
That's A&W, so this is actually ATC Trans Victoria's Tour.
That's what he said he was taking.
Yeah,
over.
they're right. Yeah,
Victorious.
Not currently, because it says stop currently operated, it could be previously operated by the.
yeah, formerly operated, like, yeah. Where's the?
And A&W has 8 arrivals.
And as determined that there is sufficient space to continue operations. Operations home. Okay, so where's the proposed location of the existing designated intercity bus stop formerly operated by Victoria's Tours? And NYC DOT has determined that there is sufficient space to continue operations at this location. Whereas the surrounding area already experiences heavy intercity bus activity, pedestrian congestion, and vehicular traffic associated with nearby Chinatown transportation corridors. Whereas Community Board 3 is concerned about sidewalk congestion, noise, idling, sanitation, pedestrian safety impacts associated with intercity bus operations at this location. And I want to add a converge, another whereas. And about the Mile Square redevelopment. And whereas Community Board 3 is aware of a reconstruction project of Mile Square.
Tuesday and up.
An upcoming, upcoming design, because we don't know if they're actually going to construction yet. Of a proposed project. Under consideration. some sort of, proposed construction project under consideration at King Lot Square. Yeah. And whereas the applicant has entered into an agreement with CB3 to adhere to the following stipulations. Tickets shall be sold online or at an off-the-site location and not on the sidewalk. Tickets shall be sold only for specific boarding times, shall not be oversold. A staff person shall be present during all arrivals, departures to manage boarding, crowd control, passenger inquiries. You're actually, where is your ticket location?
Actually, it's all online.
It's all online.
Yeah, we are not selling the ticket,
So will you be having a staff person there?
yeah.
You will?
Yeah.
Where will you direct them for restrooms?
We have a bathroom on board.
Yeah, restrooms on board.
Yes.
What about when they're waiting?
Yeah.
Actually, we are running just like the city bus. We are only there for 4 minutes. We are running just, well, just stop and go. That's and
Yeah, what do you folks feel? I know we had it in for the last one, but I'm not sure the notes here tonight might not be sure. So I don't think you need to add it to the stipulation.
Was it?
Because that, for we added in the last one for a stipulation that the staff person would direct them to a restroom. I don't think the staff person, there is no restroom to direct them to. So, but you're mentioning that there are restrooms on the buses, so. Okay. Passengers waiting to board shall form orderly single file lines that do not obstruct the public sidewalk. The operator shall maintain cleanliness around the bus stop and remove all litter associated with bus operations. Buses shall adhere to scheduled arrival and departure times to the greatest extent possible. Buses shall not idle for some periods, shall comply with all applicable MIC idling regulations. The number of daily pickups and drop-offs shall not exceed the amounts approved by DOT without further review. CB3. Therefore, be it resolved that CB3 Manhattan recommends that NYC of DOT approve a permit for Fortune Coach Inc. to operate, to obtain operations at the existing. Or actually not obtain, to, what do we say, time, so.
Some changing was chairs.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, it's just. Yeah, it's just designated to form outlet. Maintain and operate the existing. Maintain and operate the existing designated intercity bus stop in Chinese Square, provided that the above steps will be attached to and enforced as part of the permit. You're gonna sign the steps, is that correct?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So for my application, why would we not be requiring this bus company to have restrooms available for their customers? Do the people who are going to Atlantic City and coming back from Atlantic City not need to urinate and defecate, but people going to and from Ohio and other distances do have to?
I don't know why that wasn't. Because one of the reasons for the stipulations in the first place was, you know, to have someone have a bathroom available, even if it was arrangement with another company there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, that happened. I don't know if they can.
Or is it something where DOT provides it?
Pardon?
Can DOT provide?
No.
Yes.
You said that his bathroom, his buses have bathrooms on them.
Yes, I know I'm waiting for the bus at
I think it's for the Canal Street, just they says 4 company over there. So there's a couple of people waiting, and then when the bus stop, they just want to go onto the bus to have a bathroom. So usually before the bus stop, they are not allowed to use the bathroom. So that's a create a problem. But for us, we maximum we only have passengers buses, sometimes 10, 20, that's it. So we our bathroom is open all the time. Yeah, we Actually, even the waiting, we are not waiting on the site, they're just waiting on the bus.
Well, if somebody gets there early, you know, 5 or 10 or however many minutes early, to wait for your bus to arrive, and they need to utilize the bathroom. A big concern here in CB3 was to make sure that there are facilities available for these buses. And I don't see the difference, and maybe it's me.
The only. The only difference I could see, and I'm not saying it was the reason, is that these are always all locals. Because they're casino buses, they're not in, you know, the, I'm just saying that's the only difference I see. You know, but there's, the other thing I wanna mention is, and the ability, we don't have, even DOT does not have the ability to deny. And the reason this has gone to court is because it's interstate, interstate, yeah, commerce. Which is just another fact, you know, they have tried to support us, I remember once in a rented court, and they don't have the ability. But as far as bathrooms, I cannot tell you the reason.
I would urge us to have consistency. So that, you know, the other applicant today and the other applicants that I remember throughout the years and since I've been on, I think there was always a concern that there need to be facilities. And while I appreciate your explaining that if people need to, if ticket holders are there, they will be allowed to use the restrooms. You know, we may have heard the same thing from other companies in the past, I don't know. But nonetheless, I think for consistency, not to set a precedent here, I understand it was set, however, you know, in Gigi's time, maybe there was a reason. But again, just for consistency purposes, do you know, with the other companies that are using that space, is there a storefront currently nearby there? And if so, do they have bathroom facilities?
I need to go check out, I have no idea, I can say yes.
Because they
Fair
all
enough.
share, that's what they
Right.
did, they would find another bus business and they would arrange to use their bathrooms.
Then I would request that we not hold it in abeyance, but that we have a stipulation. Right, asking them to coordinate, if, not if, but with another storefront for restroom facilities.
I just wondered, like the last one, the stipulation just said, and provide restrooms. So we don't need to say, we don't
Right,
need to stipulate how to do it, but just, we could,
Well, provide restrooms other than what's on the back.
then what's on the bus.
Well, on the bus,
Yes, yeah.
The last one, we just put direct to restroom.
With the rest.
Yeah.
So put that.
Within city.
Whatever. That can't be 3 blocks away.
Right,
Yeah.
don't go to McDonald's.
Right, yeah, right.
I mean, when I did this, when I was in Paris.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but
It doesn't.
But that's just when you.
I mean, I look at, it's a different business model, right? It's a day trip for, you know, people are not carrying luggage, people are not, you know, convening in the same manner that if they're, you know, traveling out of state. You know, where people come with their luggage, they're hanging out, that, you know, it's hard for them to, you know, be as mobile because they're tied to their luggage or family and things like that. So it's a bit of a different business model. It's more like transient and quick and in and out, like you were saying, you know, like it would be great if we had more public restrooms in general, I think we all agree, but I think to put that onus on, you know, online business only, lacking storefront, I think it would be much.
I get your point, but I don't necessarily know that premise that, you know, everybody on the Ohio bus has luggage. I don't know, they may be going for a day trip or whatever. This is a bus company, it's intercity it's still an intercity, and our 20-year history has been fighting for facilities so that neighbors don't get exposed to urinating, defecating in their vestibules and et cetera.
Instead of direct, can we say that coordinate? Coordinate with.
Coordinate sounds good.
So I will say this actually now that I'm looking at Victoria's Ford company that we approved for 11 per day. Under other, it says a storefront will be provided for the use of customers so they may wait to board their bus and use the restroom facilities during all times of arrivals and departures. So with that, I feel we should. put it in.
Maybe in a
Let's do
business
the
model, they
same
don't
way.
have a storefront. That's a big, I mean, a storefront would be big, yeah.
I don't think it needs to be a storefront, like, I actually don't have, if they're directing to McDonald's, it doesn't mean that they went and had a deal with McDonald's, I think
No,
go use the bathroom.
These for bus companies, because it says that to wait, so if the company he's buying already had this arrangement, why can't he just use the same arrangement?
Cause he's only going 2 days, this guy's going 11,
But they
Different
had an
business.
arrangement, and this will
Yeah.
be even easier.
yeah. Technically, right. I mean, to your point of our issues that we always hear is that being governing in the community, and that is what we hear, I mean, it does make sense. I also know it's a burden on small companies and not all this type of thing, right, it's unfortunate, but it is part of the business model.
I have a question. Saying that they are an online service provider, it should be outlined on their website regarding the bathroom facilities, at least they're notifying those individuals that are purchasing tickets. The liability would be on those that are purchasing and also advising them of the local businesses, hopefully that they have connected with. To let them know you can use these facilities in the event that, you know, the bus hasn't arrived yet, or while they're waiting, that's something that at least they can make publicly known.
Okay, so, that is interesting to say something like that to tie it all in here, I mean, we could either say that there are, you know. Their ticket says that there are no public facilities at the bus stop or pickup, I mean, that would be one way of saying it, that they have to notify the customer of that. The other option is to notify the customer that there are, they will be directed to an a restroom. Facility, if necessary, at the bus stop, you know, having that, ticket or issue, electronic ticket or something. What do y'all feel? Do you feel that we want to, say that they should provide a restroom facility? Not really, I don't think we have to dictate how they provide that, or say that they, make it known that there are no facilities.
We do both, make it more facilities and say and coordinate.
But that means that there is a facility that coordinating. I think it like confuses almost a little for this aspect. I think we just need to be straight that we're providing and that they need to provide a restroom for customers or not. And so, why don't we just take a short poll on that? Who feels that, we should have a restroom facility associated with this bus stop?
Wait, the town had said they would go online that there are no facilities and that there are such and such storefront. So that's a bit of a coordination.
There already is a bathroom, a facility available for this company.
You said there was not.
So actually, because for us, we never had this bathroom problem, and we never had this complaint before. So, but I think I will talk with the original company, the Victoria Tour. I will talk with them and then how it works. I gonna find out the list for the bathroom issue, because I never come up with this problem before.
So in his current businesses, he hasn't had this problem. But I think what you're saying is that you never discussed this location with the previous company. So he's gonna go back to Victoria and say, what was the bathroom you used?
So did you purchase from Victoria storefront or just
The company.
Well, does the company have a storefront?
Actually, the business, this landmark business.
It's an online business, so Victoria does not have a storefront.
No.
So what we did a lot was they would coordinate with an existing company.
Okay.
Victoria, the company he's buying, did have that relationship with an existing.
So let's just, so let's go, they. I want to just play this out a little bit, so we say we're provide a restaurant facility or designated restaurant facility like we did the last time. They should have that. If they can't actually do that, let's say like you can't sign that stipulation. Can we just rehear this again next month to then talk about what we want to do?
Well, DOT, right, there is a time, a turnaround.
It's a turnaround.
There is a turnaround time in the past, DOT has extended it when they needed to.
Yeah, I think we're willing to extend it.
Okay.
So you're saying either he will sign the steps or he will come back next month.
Correct.
I'm gonna say this has been a standard for over 10 years. And it was kind of a compromise between the community that didn't want bus companies in front of their, and a compromise to allow the bus companies without, but at the same time addressing concerns. It addressed concerns of the company, but support community, but supported the companies.
We just change it to and coordinate to direct customer.
Literally cut and paste from the last
Yeah.
resolution to be,
I think we should keep it, and we could, if we get another one of these, we'll tighten it up.
Yeah, I don't know they wanna be terribly directors.
I don't want to be directed because I think they can figure it out. It's figuring it out. Yeah, okay. Does everybody feel comfortable with that? I know we just made a decision without. Everyone feels good? Cool, all right. We had that in, let's say, let's go down the line. Yes. Ronnie?
Yes.
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 And,
Yes.
okay, all right, we have one more. Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can go, you can leave, you can go get dinner like with everybody else.
Bring us on that.
Do I need to sign right now or?
Well, you wanna do it now or do you wanna?
Maybe, yeah, just go. over
Yeah,
it.
if you want, do you have this handy, but we just need to amend it though? In the restroom, unless he just puts it on here
It's
as.
probably better if you
Let's,
do it, you could email.
Email.
yeah, let me look at it.
We'll email.
We'll email it to you. Alright, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sorry, that was longer than I thought.
It's a good question.
Yeah. So we are going to go to the last one, so this is our district needs review, Kate. Happy you.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Let's see. Let's see.
Just curious, yeah. Who knows my mom?
Thanks for coming.
Did you send these out previously?
They were on the line, so I thought that would go around.
Wait, how many people actually got?
Okay. All right, so this was our district needs. Connected. This is our district needs from last year. Said,
Should we explain?
yes, I'd like to, literally, I was just gonna say, Susan, you know
It's
that.
just a draft. Thank you. It's nothing final. Some people have done these a million times and some not, so. For tonight, we actually have two things associated with the budget. We are looking at the budget for a year from now, that will start FY 28, that will start on July 1st next year. We're ending a fiscal year now, and we'll be starting the fiscal year in July. During the summer, every committee looks at the previous district needs statement, what needs to be updated. The district needs statement is not a policy statement. It is a succinct description of our community, who we are, what we have, and what we need, which will inform also our later budget priorities. We try and document it as much as possible. We use this, well, first of all, I'm gonna say a lot of organizations use our district needs, they quote directly. Hospitals in their district needs statement use our district needs, a lot of nonprofits. organizations that are looking to supply grants, that kind of thing, look at the needs. So it is really important. It also goes to the agencies, who should be directly responding to it. What else do we need to know?
Well, what's the timeline?
The timeline, thank you. So we are required in October to vote on district needs statement and budget priorities. It goes to Office of Management and Budget, who then sends it to the district, different agencies. Our council members also look at this. They will sometimes use discretionary funds to fulfill some of the needs we speak about. So and so we should finalize this. We try and finalize it in July. We do not meet in August. And then in September, we vote on our budget priorities. Well, we look at each agency, for instance, this committee looks at sanitation. We look at police, we look at Department of Transportation, we look at environmental protection. And we vote on priorities and we rank them for each agency. So that's the big picture budget. The other thing we're doing in September, the 12 community boards together meet with each of 12 different agencies. And it's generally the district managers and hopefully the committee chairs. And we prepare a budget for those, an agenda for those consultations. And the agenda is to find out about the programs that are important for our community. For instance, I've already gotten a request from one of our senior groups to advocate for real-time bus information at the shelters. So one of the things we will be doing when we do the DOT, we will say, is this program funded? How many more real-time locations are you planning to put in Community Board 3 in the next year and the following year? Do we need more money? Our job is always to get more money into our community. So if a program we like is well funded, we're not going to make that a priority because it's not going to bring more money in. So along with the district needs, any programs that any of you are interested in that you want to find out more about, let me know. I will put them on the agenda for the agencies. You do not have to vote on them. It's not taking a position. You're just fact finding. So you can do that within any time, like either tonight or the next few weeks. You want any programs. So the district needs in front of you. The office went through and shaded all the areas that need to be updated for statistics. A lot of them cannot be updated until after July 1st because we look at fiscal year. And some of them, if you go through, some of them are already updated. The Furman report from NYU is where we get a lot of our statistics, and it actually came out today. So.
Oh, so is that the public safety stuff?
Anything you see updated is, no, the police data is from online. They go by calendar year, and we just went online, nyc.gov, and got the information from them. And then the crash date is fiscal year, so that is all online, but we'll get that after the new fiscal year. So if you as a committee want to look through it and see what you think needs to be updated and where we're going to get the information from, we can do that now. It should be succinct. The whole report of all the committees together is not supposed to extend more than 30 pages. And we often go over, it's hard to keep that with 30 pages.
And it's hard, and I'll say this is like, so last year, we did a lot of rewriting of this and really trying to like succinct it down, like really taking direction from Susan on like what this is, because it really is hard, because you want, like, I revamped this myself, and she's like, oh my god, what did you do? And all this stuff.
Nice.
Like, you You can say that.
Oh dear, how do you go with that?
Not-
So it isn't me, the executive committee years ago actually voted on a model. And the model that the exec committee voted on was to aim for a bullet point as opposed to bullet point. You can't make everything bullet point, but that's the aspiration. So I was just following what the board.
Following the board was, and it was actually really good because actually once we did that, like you'll see like the pedestrian, we spent a lot of time on pedestrian, public transportation last year. And sanitation, where we really did get bullet points of like, this is what we need, like, and so. We really spent a lot of time on that. What we didn't spend, not enough time on, and it is fine. But what I wanted, which I remember I said last year, but this year I'd like to spend a little bit more time on environment and public safety. Because we didn't spend all that much time on that. And the environment was, it was really long, but it was kind of like there with the, I talked a lot about tree plantings and all this kind of stuff, which we don't need. Parks Department has done, they're planting trees in the district, we don't, that's not a need we need. But what is the need in the environment? That would be, so, bioswales, you know. The night shift with brownfield sites, there's all these other things, like I didn't really put much in there, but interesting from like a whole night shift standpoint, like is there something from the environment that we do with their properties, what we're dealing with, the construction, you know, those types of things, do we wanna add something like that? Public safety, we kind of stuck on Sarah D. Roosevelt, but it really wasn't like bullet form of like, what are we asking for them to do that's needed, and I know, maybe that's something we ask Pay for, but like, that I would like to spend a little time, like, what do we need with public safety? Like, we have a drug issue, we have SDRs, probably the market of the biggest issues.
So. I'm gonna say there's nothing new.
No,
None of it is new.
no.
And as far as like, what do you need, like going to night should say, what do you need?
Yeah.
I think it's too late to do that. You would have to have reached out to them or invited people to come to meetings.
Yeah.
So for SBR Park, actually, they did form a task force. I go every Thursday at 1:30. And the police they have a deal focusing on drug dealers, not their abusers, but drug dealers. They have made a lot of arrests. They have been focusing on food and products stolen from Target and Trader Joe's. They have improved, they are actually doing outreach in senior centers and other organizations, asking people not to buy the stolen goods. They are saying it has improved, so, I don't know what you would add to that. There's still a lot, it's still the drug dealing K2 capital of New York City for drug dealing. I think stating that fact, which we could, you know, quote from the police for the precincts. You know, stating it is pretty obvious what they need to do.
You mentioned something,
Oh.
I'm actually here for this last point, public safety.
Okay.
I've been a resident for over
And
30
you
years.
didn't ask-
Sorry, I'm Jocasta LaChapelle. This is my first time attending this meeting, but
Great.
it's risen to that point.
Okay.
I've been a resident for over 30 years. I've never seen this amount of drug activity in this neighborhood. And it's concerning. I live across the street from PS2. A public school, Henry Street.
Oh.
And this is happening. I have documented every 2 hours, there's someone on my stoop doing hardcore drugs. This is happening while the parents are dropping off their kids across the street to the.
I'm
school.
sorry.
Sorry.
You're not on the Zoom, I'm capturing you.
Sorry. Okay, so I have.
Not your fault.
7:52 in the morning, and the parents are dropping off their kids at school. There's at least there could be 3 people completely strung out, especially Mondays. It's a whole hangover from Sunday night. I called the police come, they disperse. but it continues to happen. It's habitual, I'm calling it now, my stoop. For them to do this across the street from the school at all hours. It's all, I can't, they've asked me for a time frame. I can't even give a time frame.
So if I could respond, this is actually a service delivery, it's a specific spot with a specific problem. And it's actually a service delivery issue, which are the kinds of things exactly like you're talking about. That we do deal with all the time.
Okay.
To start with, like I had a meeting, so once a month, we have what we call district service cabinet meeting with all the precincts. And the mayor's office and other agencies. So if I could ask you to just, you have documentation, to send me an
I
email.
now have videos of and screenshots of everything.
So
because-
I'm gonna ask you if you can send it and give you my card
Yes.
and ask you to send it, and the office will will work with you.
Yes, but this is not just my blog.
No, I
Also,
realize
I
that.
have I've called 311, spent the summer and fall calling 311 about an encampment. East Broadway and Rutgers, that corner, like broad daylight, space station, everything.
You're saying they have structures there. Like when you say encampment, is it structure?
I mean, there's full mattresses, queen size mattresses.
Okay, so-
on the side.
So there is a law against encampments. Not everyone is happy with the way it works, but encampments are actually an issue that the police and sanitation work together on. They have to give notice to the people there. Say like in 2 weeks, we are going to come and take this to make sure their documents. They will do that. Again, that's a different issue. We will work with.
Well, it's the drug use. Because
Okay.
it's drug use in that corner. I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm calling it encampment, but they're sleeping on mattresses on the sidewalk.
They're different.
I want to
It's
finish
just that,
this
because they're
because.
structures.
No, what I'm saying is that there are different issues. There is a drug issue, there is also an encampment issue. And we can deal with you on all of those, but I'm gonna say. This is a problem that the city needs to address. We, are talking about the drug problem. When it comes to what you're talking about, what's really gonna happen is that they're gonna move them to another corner.
That's right, and you know what, this is why I'm here, because that's not the solution, it
I
wasn't the
agree.
solution, they moved them several times. But there wasn't consistent outreach and follow through, and that's why I'm here, because someone froze to death, you probably heard about it over the winter. And that was that
No,
person,
actually, I didn't.
yes, someone froze to death
So
this
that's,
past winter.
we're here to help you. I mean, that's what we do in the office every day. So
I'm just not seeing any progress at all. And
it's the city is a failure of government. That's my quoted here. I agree with you. The city is dealing with symptoms, not the problem, but we will work with you.
Well, I want to work with you, so
Okay.
how would you bring awareness to this,
I gave
especially
you-
because I have footage.
I gave you my card.
Okay.
And the office will be, we're in touch with a number of residents on issues like this, consistently.
And I'm sorry, I'm upset, it's
No,
been
you're
so
okay.
consistent around the clock, and it's just.
It's very
I
frustrating.
actually started up just like you, very frustrated, and found Susan, and she helped me a lot, we partnered with different. Different ways to target the solution, and I wanna say, I have seen this with, change, right? It's taking time, because like you said, the system is flawed in itself. But I will, she will work through, I could talk with you on the side as well, and show you some of the things that I did to help me push forward my issue.
I'm sure she's speaking at the mic.
Oh, I wasn't. Yeah,
Can I also point out another resource that you have available, which is the 7th Precinct Community Council. I don't know that I've seen you there. If you have been there, I apologize. The next meeting is this coming Monday, at the precinct. Attend, share your concerns,
Okay.
whether they'll be addressed, publicly or privately. You have nothing to lose by attending there, ensuring again, you publicly, privately with commanding office and community affairs office.
So that's what I do is work with the precinct.
So the Monday, the.
This Monday, June 15th, 6:45. That's precinct.
So I'll just tell you too, so thanks for coming out here tonight. What we're talking about here is probably a little bit different than what you're talking about, just so you're aware, like, so we're talking about like district needs and all this kind of stuff. More like budgetary stuff. You are talking about like a service, what you came here because you got the right person, Susan.
Okay.
For the community board, she's who you need to work with on that to address services. So definitely follow with Susan. Yeah.
Here's the information, you can call me, you can talk about. Thank you. Okay, going, okay, I got you.
And they'll tell us what they said.
And you should get a gold star for staying here this whole night.
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
You should get a gold star for staying here all night.
Oh.
You sat through all of that.
And this is
So-
a public safety and sanitation committee, so as a public member, you can join.
Well,
No?
no,
No recruiting?
no, that's very curated and there's a process.
Got it,
Um,
okay.
But also service delivery complaints are not, it was good that you came because that is kind of but those are not dealt with it.
Okay.
Because there's no way to follow up, there's, what is the committee gonna do?
We kind of like do policy, we don't do like the data. That makes sense.
So, that it's a policy, this is the second highest, concentration of.
No, in fact, and I appreciate you coming out, because that's like literally what we're gonna, from a like that standpoint.
Well, how does one find out what is being done by coming here and hearing?
It's so much, everywhere, you gotta involve yourself in everything, and you very much go.
Yeah. Community council, start with Susan here.
Coming here was your first step, you're on the right path.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks for coming out.
Thank you so
See you
much.
Monday.
Okay, so with this whole thing, it is a little confusing for new members of like this whole process, because it is like you feel you wanna do more, but again, I think for. If you all like review this, think about the sections that were over, think about questions that you have, maybe some data that you want, and that's kind of what you're asking for, Susan, is kind of like something maybe that's like, we're interested in that after here, some data source.
Well, I mean, we generally know the data sources, unless if someone has something to add, I mean, so.
Another question, helpful. We mentioned public housing. I don't often hear much about public housing.
Because you're in the wrong committee.
Well, we don't have a public housing.
Yes, we do.
I thought it was taken out.
No, it was put back where it always was, into housing. Which is now private housing and public housing. The chair of the committee lives in public housing and it's certainly a big part. Yeah, depends.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but it is absolutely, so if you look at the district needs for land use, there's a whole section on public housing, we meet with NYCHA. We don't forget them.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and like where the environment was, why I thought about this was like this past year, remember when we approved that new, it was affordable housing, that's like Avenue. Between Avenue C and D on like 14th Street maybe, and
Yeah,
like they're
yeah.
cleaning up. And like, and then Susan like told me that like, because at one point I'm like, why do we have this environment thing on this committee? I don't understand. And then so it was like the history lesson of the 14th Street Con Ed facility and. so that-
Manufactured gas plants.
Yeah, manufactured gas plant where, so that was, I was trying to like get back from, do we have those types of issues that maybe we just haven't thought about?
So, how do you know right now, I believe in Greece, I think they're looking at. Which we have been doing for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
I think Greece and we have actually a new member that lives there. And, we're having a development. The previous St. Emmerich's on 11th, 12th Street, that is going to be, supportive and affordable housing. That's basically on the brownfield site from manufacturing gas plants.
There's a point of order, it's around 9 o'clock. Are you asking us to review this document and provide feedback before our next meeting? Is that
The next
all
one.
the action?
I would say definitely before the next meeting, because if we have to look up and two things. One, any questions about any programs. I'm gonna say send them to Vinny, we'll collate them and send them to me.
Yep.
That should be within the next 2 weeks, because the 12 boards are together creating those agendas as we speak. We have to submit everything in July.
Like a program that we know already, or like, let's say I wanna know more about health and wellness in our community.
Say that again.
Like a program we already know that's running, we wanna know about, or like we wanna know in broad, like health and wellness in our community and how that looks and what programs.
Well, let's put it this way, it can be a program that exists and you wanna know if it's well funded, that kind of thing. Or if you think there's a need and you're not aware of a program, ask about that. We can ask the agency, how do you address this? Do you have a program to address this? Is there funding for
So then
this?
send your email before our next meeting.
No, the next 2 weeks.
Before,
For the next 2
before
weeks.
June
We're
23rd,
doing two different things.
before election day.
We're doing two different things. We're sending these questions. So that's one thing. The other thing we're doing is any feedback on the district need. Separately, give that feedback to Vinny within the next 2 weeks. So that if there's information to look up, if you have any suggestions on where to look it up, it takes time to do all that. And we're gonna try and finalize as much as possible at the next meeting. Does that make sense to everyone? And like I say, we really don't wanna be anecdotal. The drug use is hard because we know there's a tremendous amount. I think the way around that is to get, in some committees, we have a lot of, we cite conversations with the precinct or with an organization that has expertise. So I think that's the way, to do that.
Okay, all right, I think that's it. Let's do a roll call.
Vince Cerrito.
Here.
Nancy Conlon. Tanya Bates.
Yeah.
Lee Berman.
Here.
Who's got, is Ariana one? I see it. Ariana. Two absent. Sean Garcia present. Charlie.
Here.
Michelle absent. Elena.
Here.
Andy Crane absent. And Camille. And then.
Here.
Great, thanks guys.